morning, dear.
Start
Hi.
with the
Good morning.
volume levels.
Good morning, babe.
Good morning.
All right.
And so in the summer of 2007, we went back and we went into the slum of Korogacho, which is on the Nairobi dumps. It wasn't a happy slum. I mean, it was very, people were very
No slums
angry.
are happy. Like, there's a different feel. And so Jenny and I walk in and we were visiting a school that a pastor had been trying to start. And he was walking with us. He was so proud to show us this corrugated tin building. As we walked into the school, we passed this young lady, and she was clearly a student, but she's on the outside of the school. You know, she's wrestling and fumbling with this nub of a pencil, and she was trying to get the pastor's eye as he's walking past. On his way out, the pastor noticed the girl, and he said to her, you know, Agnes, why aren't you in school? Why aren't you taking your test? And in Swahili, we later found out what she said was, Pastor, I didn't have the shillings that I needed to pay for the materials. She did not have what turned out to be 27 cents. To make that entire year relevant, she didn't have 27 cents. And it was at that point that we thought, man, there's a difference out there to be made. There's people in America that will join in this. There's people in the UK that will join in this. And we gotta make that difference.
The mission of Daraja Academy is to create a community of individuals with a sense of cultural awareness, social conscience, and environmental responsibility, while instilling talents that will enable them to open doors to a global society.
Daraja means bridge, basically. We haven't said that. Daraja means bridge in Swahili. We chose that as the name. We chose the bridge because we want to bridge the students in Kenya with students here in America, with students in the UK, hopefully with students all over the world, wherever there are Daraja sister schools. But one great thing about this is that once you get to know these people, once you see that they are like you, they are different than you in some ways, but those differences aren't necessarily bad.
I think what we'd like to see happen is that we would have a Camp Daraja, where these students who the Kenyan students have been working with all year long, US students, you know, UK students, whoever in the world comes over to our campus and gets to meet these kids face to face. You know, really building those relationships and seeing how really similar all humanity is.
These aren't kids that just want a handout. These are people that want a chance. We're not giving them an education. We're giving them access to an education.
We've done a lot of research on women's education, and we found that, you know, the U.S. policy and research found that the #1 reason behind falling levels of malnutrition in a family is women's education.
These will be girls from as many different tribes as we can get. And so we want girls from the northern tribes, we want them from the slums, we also want them from the Laikipia Plateau.
We're going to be starting with 25 students, and every year thereafter we're going to be adding into this sample of students that is going to grow and to change. And our goal is to have our students, when they complete their education, to stay in Kenya and help Kenya become a better country.
You know, if we've done our job correctly, where you really appreciate where you're from and what your home means, it can be effective.
You know, in the summer of 2007, when we were there on the ground looking for land to build on, and through a contact, we came across a fully built school that was built by an organization in Baltimore. And there's a documentary film that documents the history of this school called The Boys of Baraka. And what it is it was a school that was built for inner city Baltimore youth, and they were brought from the United States to Kenya to be educated. We emailed this guy. All we had was the email of the caretaker. And in Kenya, you email somebody.
Well, mind you, wait one moment. We're about to leave. We're flying out of the country on a Sunday, and we find out 3 days before we leave, the school's up there.
3 hours later, we get a phone call. You know, hi, this is Peter from the Baraka School. Do you guys want to come up and visit? And, you know, we're jaw-dropping thinking, oh my goodness, and drive 4 hours north of Nairobi and come across this school that is just beautiful. It is really, really amazing. I mean, it's built on 150 acres, 60 of which are fenced, and there's enough buildings currently existing to house 200 students.
It's everything we've dreamed of, dormitories and dining halls. And
classrooms, libraries, I mean, you name it, it was already on the school, and it's fully furnished. It was just such a remarkable experience, I think.
It was fate. It was supposed to happen, and it happened. So right now, the campus sits there, and it's a skeleton of what it could be. It doesn't have its soul. It doesn't have its students. We have these beautiful bedrooms with the sunlight shining in and empty beds. We have classrooms where there are chalkboards and there are desks pushed to the wall, but they're empty. There's no students in them. And with your help, we can fill those seats. You know, we can get those girls and put them in there and get their teachers and really make this dream a reality.
And I think the most essential thing that's going to make this school fly is funding. And not just funding that's going to stop in a couple of years, but funding that's going to be long term. So every year, year after year, we can continue giving these students access to education.
We're doing more than just asking for money. We're giving something to these donors as well. We're giving them access to change. We're going to show you pictures on the website of where your money is going.
We'll be telling you stories on the blog about what's happening actually on site. You know, Jason and I are going to be there, and we'll be the ones there to make sure everything's running efficiently, and we can report to you where exactly your funds have gone.
As the Car Educational Foundation has gone over there on research trips, we learned that a lot of these ventures fail because the actual people that are founding it don't go. They try to run it from afar, and it's been found that that's a very difficult way to make this happen. Luckily for us, our dream is to go there. So it sort of fits together nicely. We want you to know that your money, this is not 75% goes to running the Daraja Academy and the Car Foundation. You know, we don't have rent in an office. We don't have a staff of 100 people. There's 2 people that are over there, and the money that you're giving us is for our food. And it's really going straight into the school. We're tightening our belts to make this work. And what you can do is provide an incredible opportunity for these young ladies. And we're going to be sure that your money goes where you want your money to go.